Alright, I want to take this time to do a video on putting line on a rod. Something real simple, but it is something I get asked a lot about, and you know, I'm not going to go into detail in every little situation I do, but I'm going to put the line that I like and the leader line, braid to a fluorocarbon leader with a double uni knot. And this is the rod and reel setup that I use most of the time. I got a tournament coming up, and I had some knots in my other line, so I wanted to go ahead and change it. So let's start with what I have first, and I'll kind of just walk through and talk through everything. I'm not going to show like every little detail on it, like I said, but I really like this rod. This is my favorite rod, spinning rod, and I use spinning rods most of the time. So this is like my creek rod, kayak rod, finesse rod. I do a lot of stuff with it. It's a 6'9" medium, extra fast. It's a Shimano Zodias. That's about a $209 rod. Very nice. The reel is a Shimano Nasi, and it's a $100 reel, right in that range. And for a $100 reel, it feels like really good. It's a 2500 size. I have a couple of these Shimano Nasi or Naski, however you say it, and they're good. That 2500 is just a normal like good size reel that you're gonna use, and it feels good. It's a 6 or 6.2 to 1 gear ratio, pretty fast gear ratio. So this rod's a real sensitive, kind of a stiff on the end rod. So this is a very good finesse. I'm gonna put some braid on it. I got 15-pound cigar. This is I usually use 10 or 15-pound, and 15 pounds still is pretty thin, and I got this for free at a tournament. But I do like using this 10-pound Red Label cigar fluorocarbon for my leader knot. Ooh, that braid feels really smooth. It's supposed to be high vis. It's a green high vis, sleek, ultra strong, 8-strand braid. Not sure much else about it. What else does it say? It says exceptional strength and abrasion resistance. So the point of using braid, or the reasons I like braid, first off, it's real thin. So this is 15-pound braid, but it's probably as thin as 6-pound line. You can obviously cast it farther on a spinning rod with thinner line. And the sensitivity. There's no stretch. It's really strong and sensitive. I like the high vis. It'll stay visible when I'm casting. I can watch my line if it's moved or not. And that's the reason I like the braid. I have to put a leader on it because even though like fish can see this, and sometimes that can be a problem, but a lot of times when it gets rubbed on rocks and some sharp objects, it's going to cut a lot easier than the fluorocarbon leader line. So here we go. We got the braid. You can put some backing on your reel because you really won't need that much. You're not going to go through a lot of line, so once I spool it up, I'm only going to use that first part, because whenever I break off, it's going to be leader line. I'm always going to retie a leader line. I already have a little bit of backing on there. I think I got some like 10-pound mono, and then I'd already put some kind of braid to it from before. So instead of taking it all the way down, I'm going to go ahead and just tie a line, the old line to the new line. That way I can spool this new line on top of it. And if you want to put the whole thing on there, you can do that too. Just make sure it's not slipping. Some reels don't have a like a rubber piece or anything, and the braid will slide because it doesn't have nothing to grab to. Whereas if you start it with mono or fluorocarbon, that stuff stretches and it holds tight. So right now I'm just doing a uni knot on that end, and then a uni knot on this end. Same way I'm going to do my leader line, but I'm attaching it to this old braid. Oh, there we go. So line to line, tighten it down, and it makes just a real small knot. And I'm just gonna cut it off right at the edge where the little, what's it called, tags come out. Got some pliers, something I can cut that braid, because it can be kind of hard to cut, but all this is gonna get buried underneath the new line, but you still don't want a big knot in it. I don't know if it matters too much about twist and braid. If I'm taking mono off, I want to kind of have it coming out the top, and I might do the same thing. You want it kind of coming out the top like that most of the time on a spinning rod, because it's going to twist up on it. So I'm just going to throw this on the ground over there, close my bell on my reel, hold the line to keep it tight, where it's kind of put a little tension where when it feels up around there, it's not got some slack line. And where's my thing? That thing will roll around. I got the, it's being real noisy over there. I got the new line started on here, and I'm just gonna start reeling. Make sure I don't cut nothing, but let that thing kind of, I don't care what it does, just rolling around on the ground over there. All right, I just want to spool it up, you know, almost all the way to the edge. You can kind of see where the lip is. I don't want it too thick, where whenever you cast, a whole bunch of stuff's coming off, but you want it all the way out, where when it does cast, it doesn't have as much resistance. If it's real thin on there, if you only put a little bit on there, and you got a big gap in your, like inside there, then it has more resistance to, like, you know, travel around it as it's coming off. And so kind of just want to fill it up, not too much, but just to the edge where you got a little bit of lip there. And it's ready to go. So that's where I'm going to cut it off. And I should have enough for another rod or another reel later on in the future. But there we go. There's the end of the line. Line's on there. Now it's time to put the leader line on. All right, this red label is not too expensive, and it's supposed to be pretty good line for the money. But this is kind of an important part, because this is the part where the fish are biting. This is the part where it's tied to the hook. It also could be a part that rubs over rocks and stuff. So I'm probably going to put 6 to 10 feet of it. And I used to go thinner line a lot, but I used to use 6 pound. I'm like, I want a little thinner, then 8 pound. But since I've gone to 10 pound, I've had a lot less break-offs. And I've lost, you know, haven't had, you know, fish come off. So even in creeks where I'm just fishing, you know, say a smallmouth bass in a creek, you hook into a 2 or 3 pound fish, it can easily break you off, especially when you're putting some tension on it or it's rubbing you on some rocks. So let's do a double uni knot. So I'm going through this line, the braid. On this side, we're gonna go 5 times. Pull it through. This is not a knot tying video, so you can look up uni knot, UNI, and watch people do it. So there's one done. Now I'm doing the second one. Go through 5 times. Keep it kind of in order where it's not overlapping each other. It's like 5, I think. Then I pull that one down and kind of cinch it down a little bit. Then once you grab both ends, the braid and the leader, and just cinch them down. You can wet them if you want to, but once you get it down tight, it pulls into a nice small little knot right there, like I did before, cutting off the tag right at the edge there. I don't want it sticking out and clanking on stuff. Then we got the braid, same thing. Cut it off. Make sure it holds. Just go ahead and get some good tugs on it. Make sure it feels like it's, you know, too big of a knot sticking out, and you can kind of look at it, and something's crossways, the knot will be kind of awkward. But I mean, that's not a perfectly smooth knot. It's gonna make some noise as it goes through there, but I like it. I can tie it really fast, and it's been strong and holds up. Now let me just reel off about, let's see here, I'm probably gonna go like 8 feet of it. Let's see, I'll reel it halfway down, and then it'll leave me a good chunk. So more than 5 feet. I usually, you know, less than 10. I mean, you can do what you want. Everybody you can do a different way. And I'm gonna go ahead and hook up something I'm gonna be probably fishing with tomorrow. And this is also a lure that this whole thing is based around. But I'll definitely throw on you know, this is the rod and reel setup I'll throw the Yum Dinger on a 1/16 ounce jig head. And of course, Yum Dinger's weighted. I mean, it's kind of thick, so it kind of carries. So I'll do this. This is a setup I throw it on that setup, which I've landed a lot of fish on. Also, I'll throw it weightless on this setup with a Yum Dinger. And also, this is the setup I'm going to use for the Hellgrammite, whether I'm out of a kayak or wading in a river or creek or whatever. So I also just tie a uni knot to my hook. So basically, I started using that. That's all I use for everything. Just mainly because I'm lazy, and it works. And this is a new Hellgrammite come out. NIKKO came out with a new Hellgrammite, pink one, and you know, I've been wearing them out on this bubblegum yellow swirl. It was like a pink and yellow Yum Dinger. I'm excited to try out this pink Hellgrammite. And if you don't know about the NIKKO Hellgrammites, of course, they're really strong and tough. but they're very dense. So when you're putting them on a hook, you kind of gotta know how they work. And I have a video showing how I do this, but I put it on. This is a Z-Man Bullet Z hook. It's a pretty stiff hook, still real sharp, and it's made for Z-Man stuff. So I put it through the head. Right, if I can get it on there, get on there. Just barely tag it through the head because it's real strong and elastic where it's gonna pull up here without tearing. If I can get it up there, go ahead, get on up there. Oh, there it is. We got it on the head part. That way it's just attached up there. And we're just gonna stick it through. If I can get it lined up. Straight through the side, coming in sideways, going in through the side, poking out the other side. And there we go. We got a nice little pink Hellgrammite. And if you can see, the hook is sticking out the other side. But it's also kind of not going to get hung on stuff. So I went through the side like that. These little flames kind of keep it. If I need to tuck it back in, I can. But it's on there. I can throw it out, let it do whatever it does, which just needs to be in the water mainly. And with that jig head, it was a 1/10 ounce. So it's enough to cast it. Ooh, with this braid smooth coming off too. So I can cast that out there pretty good. And hopefully I'll go catch some fish on it tomorrow. Well, now everything's ready to go, ready for the tournament. Got new braid on it, got new leader line. I'll go test it out tomorrow before my tournament. And we should be good to go. Thanks for watching.